I'll ask you for permission. Okay, so welcome, Sam. So
Hi.
we're going to do a little interview because you've just received some amazing feedback for 3 sessions of quantum holographic echo healing that you performed on a client.
Yeah.
And your client has given us permission to obviously keep her nameless. We're going to respect her privacy, but we're going to discuss a massive insight and awakening that your client had at was it the end of session 3?
Yeah, it was on the 3rd session. Yeah, as we pulled everything together.
Brilliant. So I'll just explain quickly what quantum holographic echo healing is. So it's an energy healing therapy treatment, if you like, and it works with your client's biofield, so your auric hologram, if you like. We're all energetic beings and we all have a frequency and resonance. Just by using the power of our intention, we can become entangled with your client's energy field. And we have an extensive manual. Everybody works with a pendulum, and we use the pendulum to tap into your client's body and auric field. So it's the field that contains all the information about their present life and past life, and even all family ancestral karma. And what we're working with on a client is the deepest level to bring about all the hidden beliefs, all the subconscious memories, all the negative emotions, and who that's associated to with timeline events. We bring them to the surface because that's what's holding them back in that moment from moving and aligning with their highest potential. And we do different spiritual healings for that. So you perform a spiritual kind of, I don't know what you call it really, a prayer, a spiritual healing technique, tapping, affirmation. So there's certain color cleansing. So there's so much involved with helping your client break through a limiting kind of stuckness in their life to go to the next phase of their conscious growth. So you had a client, Sam, so you trained with us and you finished your training not that long ago, really, within the last 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, it was late summer last year. And then I obviously did the case studies and that. So it was like autumn time that I got the certificate. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've interviewed you before, so people could go and listen to your story and your experience with QHEH. But today, because your client shared on social media that what did she put? She'd finally got the answer to the thing she was searching for 20 years.
Over 20 years. She'd been, over 20 years, she'd been looking for the answer to this issue in her life. And yeah, we found the answer for her on during the 3 sessions, and as we all pulled it together on the last session is when that answer came very loudly for her.
Wow. And how was it an issue for her? Like, what was going on in her life that was not working out for her?
Okay, so I mean, she came to originally sort of wanting to feel more connected to herself again. And having that, she felt she'd lost connection to herself, her family, and also her belief in, source, God, whatever faith, as it were. So that was sort of the overarching issue that she came to me with after seeing some of my posts about the modality, and how that was affecting her was that she just felt numb in life. She hadn't told me that she was actually seeking this particular answer at all in any of the sessions.
Right.
So she knew, but she didn't disclose that to me. But how she was feeling was that she felt numb. She kept repeating same habits that she was really, really beating herself up about, and she just couldn't understand why she couldn't break them.
Wow.
See, I'm getting shivers again because this is what happened on the 3rd session. And she just felt like she didn't love herself, and she just felt disconnected from her family. It's like she said, I just feel numb and I can't be who I feel I should be. as a mother and as a partner. So yeah, it had deep impact on her life and how she was living her life and doing the same things and beating herself up about it.
And there's so many people out there, myself included, you know, at
Yes.
times, thank God I've got this modality to get and show me the root cause of it and I can clear it. But so many of us, we face that in our life, don't we? It's
Yeah.
like this hamster wheel of rinse and repeat. Why do I keep acting this way? Why does this situation keep happening to me? Why can I not break out of the cycle?
Yeah.
And we can't, because we're not consciously aware of what caused it in the first place.
Yeah.
But with quantum holographic echo healing, you don't even have to, like you say, your client doesn't have to come and say a word.
No.
They don't
No.
have to talk at all.
No.
They can if they want to, because you can create that space for them to do that confidentially and supportively, but they don't have to say anything, because we're not listening to their story. We're talking to their energy field, which contains all of the information that they've forgotten over many lifetimes that
Yes.
they're never going to remember. So this is the beauty of how it brings things up. And like you say, you didn't go in there with a preconceived idea about what you were looking for. So you informed your story. So your judgment wasn't involved. You're an open vessel for this channeling work to come through you. And then you find it with the system.
Yeah.
So for her to have that insight, number one, it means you're a bloody brilliant practitioner. You're able to create space with people. You're intuitive, and you know, you're letting the system guide you, and you're doing amazing work. So for something that's held someone back for 20 years, to have an insight and a breakthrough, to realize that it's not her fault.
And that was the biggest thing, because when she said one word and I got an instant whoosh, like that, this is it. And I just, you know, said to her, would you be willing to sort of explore this a bit more? Because it's okay if you don't, but I feel this is really going to help you. And as she did, that's when the massive light bulb went off, and I was then able to guide her to know that it actually wasn't her at all. It wasn't her fault. And while she kept blaming herself, it actually wasn't her fault. It's something that happened that was deeply embedded in her energy, in her cells, and it wasn't her fault. And the relief on her face when she realized that, and how this particular issue had manifested for her, and why, and you know, her whole being conditioned. Yeah, I mean, you could just literally see a physical change completely come over her. Yeah,
because it's like she can put down the suitcases of emotional baggage. And you know, if you think you're responsible for your behavior, you know, because you're acting out, but you're not sure why you're acting out, then you do feel responsible. You think, I'm an adult, why am I behaving this way when I know it's not healthy for me?
Yeah.
But your body remembers every experience that you've ever had. So her body, if an amazing book is Bessel van der Kolk, Bessel Bessel van der Kolk, I think, something like that. I've spelt that wrong, said that wrong, but it's The Body Knows the Score.
Oh, fab. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about emotional trauma and how our cells are responding to that. You know, our environment gives us the stimulus, but our body will respond to it automatically without the brain having to intervene. It's like we have these memory centers in the cells of our body. So if you get an outside stimulus, let's say you were attacked as a baby, you might not remember it by a dog. If you hear a dog bark, then your body can go into shock, fight or flight, because that's how the brain and the body work together to keep you safe. So she's not knowing why she's reacting in this way, yet her body is simply responding to situations that may be stressful, triggering her, and then she's acting out, and then that's negative ripple effect to her family, her friends, her relationships, her kids. Every aspect of your life gets affected. So just talk us through, like, what were your main highlights that were coming through the sessions?
Yeah, so actually, I mean, just on the first session, because we use the tarot to do sort of a energetic snapshot of where that person is, and you know, what energy surrounded them on the holistic level, which every client of mine absolutely just loves that. So the difference between session 1 and 3, an overarching thing for the client was that she just felt like she couldn't do anything right.
Right.
So when I asked her a question in session 1, she just wasn't able to answer.
Right.
Because she said, I can't. You know, she got quite anxious about it. And then in session 3, when I asked her the same question, it was an instant. So I just like fed that back to her. So have you noticed a difference of now, you know, we've been releasing this belief that you have that you can't do anything right. And
So
today you were instantly able to, and she went, oh yeah. So that was a shift that I noticed. But yeah, so the highlights were the client really, so on the session 1, the client felt really uplifted, etc., and empowered and really excited. On session 2, we went a bit deeper. So there was a different sort of energetic reaction within her. And you know, I always advise people, you know, each session is going to be different. We're working on different energies and layers. And she did sort of realize then, oh, actually, sort of this door opened for her, like, actually, I need to be going back further here. I now realize it was stuff of my childhood that is causing some of these issues, but she still didn't really understand why.
Yeah, because we're not going to discuss what the penultimal thing.
No, I'm not going to discuss that.
Not sharing that.
No.
But this client had forgotten it. It
Yes.
was a long forgotten memory that recalled during your session. And I'm glad you say that you got an intuitive hit when she mentioned a certain word.
Yeah.
That's happened to me before. And sometimes it may seem insignificant in the broad spectrum of the session, but when you know you've landed on something, you can't get away from it. If you know you're intuitive, you just can't leave it where it is. And some clients might disregard it at first. Oh yeah, well that happens, but it's no big deal. But if you stick with your intuition and you go and you probe and you ask the right questions, then I've had a major breakthrough with somebody who's realized that actually what she's facing, as insignificant as she may find it, it's actually major for her life. She's just got used to it, and all the women in her life as well. So it's like this whole family karma carrying this emotional wounding through. So it's great that you can trust yourself.
Yeah.
To really go there with her.
And so, on the second session, actually, it's just come back to me. There was we discovered an issue around both of the birth of her children. And again, it's not something she had consciously, you know, thought about as such, but it's obviously, you know, in the subconscious. And by opening that up, and that actually gave her the massive realization of why she was being triggered so much by the last 2 years' events. And she was able to link that together. And again, that gave her a massive relief as to why she was being triggered so much by certain things.
Yeah.
You know, and that obviously helped calm down that primal amygdala fight, you know, freeze and stuff. And then that opened the door up again a bit more about her numbness relationship with her family as well.
Did it do your timelines at all?
Yes, yeah, it was timelines, going deeper on associations, and as you say, using, you know, that connection and channel and intuition to delve deeper onto what that was associated in, and was it directly related to her or not, you know. And as you know, every session's different, and for me, I'm seeing massive differences by people having at least 3 sessions than just the one. Definitely. The one session is beneficial. I'm not saying it's not, but I just think there needs to be at least 3 to really, you know, if she hadn't had that 3 sessions, she would still be seeking this answer she's been looking for 20 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, with these deep things, like somebody can certainly have a breakthrough with, but 3, it's just, again, it's that layering system, isn't it? Okay, so the client shows up, it'll work with where it needs to go first, but the client has to be able to take it and process it also, because things obviously consciously come to the surface because you're finding them.
Yes.
And you're repeating it, you know, you're telling them what you find, and it literally paints a picture of their life, doesn't it? That the emotions that they're holding on to, the beliefs that they're saying to themselves. So one might have been, I never get it right.
Yeah.
You know, it will work on timeline events. So it'll bring up the people that have done things. Yes. Or had things happen to them. I can't think what else it does, but it just goes, and it'll continue like that in a loop until it's painted this big picture where the client can have a major breakthrough with it. What was the homework that she was given? What was her like treatment care?
They each actually, just looking at, each of the 3 sessions was the tapping with the affirmation, and one of them was a repeat affirmation of one of the points, and that sort of, I call it the personal plan, makes this so unique. And every client has said, you know, I'm not just left like you've just released something, and I'm just not like, oh, okay. And that's what I love about this, is that we've made this space in the energy field cells, but it's quite easily for that space to be filled in again with lower vibrations, or, you know, the lower motion and scale. So that's what I love about this, that we're then creating that new energetic belief for them, and you know, imprinting that into their cells again.
Yeah. So
empowering.
And again, we're asking the client's body what
which
the client needs. We're not deciding.
No.
We've got some tools in our healing kit for QHEH, and we'll ask the client's body which one is suitable for her. And we even go so deep as how often does she need to do it, and how long for. So it's not us guessing or well, I've only got this to work with, so that'll do. You know, if you're already a Reiki practitioner, you can say, is Reiki in the client's best interest for aftercare? So you can bring in everything you've got in your bag to help a client move forward. So
definitely. If it does detect the physical systems that are in the structure, then I do pass on additional energetic clearing for them to focus on that particular area, to go again, just to go a bit deeper. But I think every client I've had, it's in a roundabout way, may not be the same words as said, I've never told this to someone, and sort of, I've forgotten that as well. Honestly, but whilst our conscious has forgotten it, your whole being hasn't.
It's amazing, because we're walking around vibrating this stuff. It's who we are, even though, you know, consciously we only have so much space to be able to think and do cognitive functions. But everything else, we are only energy anyway. But this thing are zinging in our field. They're causing our frequency to be as it is. So if you want to manifest anything in your life, if you want to meet that perfect partner, if you want to have that perfect job, if you want to have peace and harmony, or as a matter of Peppa Pig, that peace and harmony in your life, then your vibration needs to be raised to meet on the same level that thing that you want in your life. And you can't do that with these low level energies and emotions circulating in your field, because it just keeps you trapped and drained into like the 3D matrix, if you like. So you're a bit screwed unless you can work through your stuff, but it's the stuff that we don't even know is an issue. So it's so cool how the system will just go, there you go, this is what's going on, this is where you need to work. It's unbelievable the way that it works. What have you learned about yourself or the system through QHEH, and especially with this client, or all the clients you've been working with?
What have I learned? How powerful it is. Yes, we have the system structure to go through, but it is a personal journey to each and every person, and it does work for your highest and greatest good. Obviously, as practitioners, we set that intention anyway, and we always do the energetic setup before the session as well, to make it safe space for them, and you know what they are able to cope with it, you know. And I always say to people, it may be uncomfortable here, we may be stirring some stuff up, but you know, I've got you, we're going to, you know, work on this together. It's just deepened my own belief, really, to, you know, that everything is energy, and how we avoid the uncomfortable and the discomfort. And even though we don't want to feel that way, as humans, we are wired to keep that way, you know, by our brains and stuff. And you know, my passion, due to my own story of childhood issues, is that we really do need to clear the childhood, and for some, the ancestral lineage.
We do. You're right. You're absolutely right. For your client now, having this breakthrough, how does she feel?
Well, on one message, she just said she felt like a completely different woman. I'm trying to remember what she wrote on that post, but yeah, she just felt now she could really focus on life and living.
Yeah.
And just that weight's gone, that now she understands why she's doing the things that she's doing. It's going to allow her to break that cycle. And most definitely, if she does do it again, not beat herself up about it, and just know,
yeah, that she's in control. She is now in control, because now she knows where it's coming from, and if she chooses to reenact it, it's coming from her choice, and not an unconscious choice. So one of the reasons why we can stop being that way, if we choose to, is because we now send messages to the body that I'm not in that situation anymore. I'm not, say, 5 years old anymore. I don't need to self-soothe in this way. Let's say I can choose a different way as an adult, and this is the way that I choose, that my environment is safe, I'm safe. You know, we can give those messages to the body, because all the body's done, it's created this neural pathway of, if that happens, you do X, because when you do X, it keeps you safe from that. So now she can start to rewrite that pathway by telling herself, I'm safe, I'm not in that situation anymore, and this is what I choose to do now. And then the body, because she's given it a command, will follow suit. And once she's done that often enough, it creates that new neural pathway, and that old habit belief doesn't sustain itself, doesn't have any life anymore. That's fantastic. So where can people find you if they want to work with you, Sam?
Okay, yeah, so you can use good old search engines, and you can just put my name in. The business name is my full name, which is Ruby Sam Youngz, and with a Z on the end of Youngz. So yeah, I'm on Facebook, social media, Google. You can find me there to get to the website, etc.
Yeah. I'll put all your links there. And
okay, cool.
Yeah, and if you go to the website www.qheh.co.uk, go to the directory practitioner, and you'll find Sam there. So with her details. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to your clients as well for allowing us to discuss this, and for her being open enough to share that she's had a breakthrough with you. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm very grateful.
Well done, you. Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work. All right, I'm just going to pause the recording.